Have you ever stopped to think about the hidden forces, the ones that quietly shape our world?
Yeah, exactly.
These huge industries sort of humming along under the radar, right? Influencing everything from, well, the device you're holding
Right.
to, the safety of public spaces we use every day. Foundational stuff, but we often just don't see it.
And that's precisely what we're getting into today. We're going to uncover two really critical, often, unseen global market trends.
Okay, what have we got?
First, the global polycarbonate compound market.
Mm-hmm.
And second, the institutional industrial and institutional cleaning market. You'll often hear it called the I&I market.
IandI cleaning. Got it.
And look, all the data we're diving into today, it's solid, comes straight from cognitive market research.
Great. So our mission here is basically to pull out the most important bits, the real nuggets of knowledge. Give you a shortcut, really, to getting up to speed on these huge industries.
Exactly. No drowning in spreadsheets.
No, none of that. Just the aha moments. Okay, let's unpack this. I bet there are some surprising facts in here.
Oh, definitely.
All right, let's kick things off with that first one. The global polycarbonate compound market. So just think about all the materials. I mean, the sheer stuff that makes up our modern lives, like car parts, interiors, the casing on your phone or laptop. You're saying polycarbonate compounds are a big deal there.
A huge deal. They're kind of the unsung heroes making so much of that possible. What's really fascinating, I think, is how their unique properties directly fuel this massive market demand.
Properties like what, specifically?
Well, they're known for being incredibly lightweight, but at the same time, they're remarkably heat-resistant and just unbelievably strong impact-resistant.
Right.
So that makes them perfect for, high-performance engineering solutions all over the world.
Okay, so strong, light, heat-resistant. That sounds like a winning combo. How big is this market then?
Yeah.
And, how fast is it actually growing?
Well, get this. Back in 2021, the global market was already sitting at about $2.8 billion.
Okay, substantial.
Yeah, not small. But here's where it gets really interesting. By 2025, just next year, that's projected to climb to over $3.5 billion.
Wow.
And if you look further out, say to 2033, we're talking about a market expected to surge to nearly $5.8 billion.
Almost $6 billion.
Exactly. That's a pretty steady compound annual growth rate, a CAGR of over 6% for more than a decade.
That's solid, consistent growth, isn't it?
It really is, and we're seeing it used more and more everywhere. Think advanced automotive parts.
Especially with EVs, I imagine. Lightweighting is key there.
Precisely. Electric vehicles are a big driver, but also cutting-edge electronics, durable construction materials.
Yeah.
It's a foundational material, and it feels like it's really just getting started.
That's incredible growth for something, most of us probably don't give a second thought to. Really shows how critical these advanced materials are.
Yep.
Okay, let's shift gears then. Our second major market. This one feels, I don't know, maybe even closer to home. You said it connects directly to our health, our daily environments.
It does.
This is where it gets really interesting, right? Think about all that essential work, often totally behind the scenes, keeping places like hospitals, schools, even offices, not just clean, but like properly safe, hygienic.
Absolutely. The institutional, industrial, and institutional, that I&I cleaning market, it's fundamental, absolutely fundamental to maintaining health and hygiene standards everywhere. Commercial spaces, industrial sites, institutions.
Everywhere we go, pretty much.
Pretty much. And the numbers reflect that importance. In 2021, the global market for these I&I cleaning products and services, it was valued at over $18 billion.
18 billion? Okay, that's already massive.
Right. By 2025, it's set to grow to over $21 billion. And then looking out to 2033 again, it's projected to surge to an impressive $30 billion.
$30 billion.
$30 billion. It reflects this really healthy annual growth rate of over 4% year after year. If you connect that to the bigger picture, it just highlights how fundamental this market is. Public well-being, economic activity.
Yeah, you can't really function without it.
Exactly. It's essentially the backbone of modern sanitation, especially, in a world that's become so much more aware of hygiene in the last few years.
No kidding. So, okay, those are some seriously big global numbers for both markets, polycarbonate and I&I cleaning. But where is this growth really concentrated? Like, if we look at a world map, what do these patterns tell us about development, maybe priorities?
That's a great question because, the regional breakdown tells some really interesting stories. We don't need to get lost in every single decimal point.
Right, just the headlines.
Exactly. Let's hit the major stories.
Sounds good. So what's the picture in, say, North America and Europe? Are they still the big players we'd expect?
Yeah, absolutely. North America and Europe are definitely still robust markets for I&I cleaning. Take North America, it's projected to grow by over 50% from its 2021 value by 2033,
Wow.
reaching over $7.1 billion. And yes, the United States is really leading that charge.
Okay. And Europe, similar story.
Very similar trajectory.
Huh.
Europe is also set to expand by, more than 50% by 2033, getting close to $5.8 billion. And within Europe, countries like Germany are showing particularly strong momentum.
Hmm.
So these regions, they represent mature, stable growth. It signals that consistent demand for high hygiene standards in, established economies.
Okay, so steady, solid growth in the West. Makes sense. But where's the real, explosive acceleration happening? When it comes to cleaning, where's the fastest growth?
Well, that brings us squarely to Asia Pacific.
Ooh.
No doubt about it. That's one of the fastest growing regions for I&I cleaning.
Really? How fast?
Well, its market was already huge in 2021, over $7 billion. But it's projected to climb to an impressive $12.6 billion by 2033.
12.6 billion.
Yeah. That's a robust annual growth rate, the CAGR, of nearly 5%.
Nearly 5%. Okay.
And China's the powerhouse there, expected to nearly double its market size. But get this, India is actually showing the highest growth rate in the entire region.
India? Higher than China?
Yep. AKGR of almost 6%. It's practically doubling its market from 2021 to over $1.7 billion by 2033. Just imagine. Think about the sheer volume of new factories, new hospitals, growing cities.
Right. The infrastructure build-out must be immense.
It's driving massive demand across both China and India. It's a huge transformation. And we're seeing healthy, really significant growth across Japan, South Korea, Australia, Southeast Asia too.
Yeah.
KGR's above 4% there as well.
That rapid expansion in Asia Pacific, especially India showing that top growth rate, that's really telling. What about other emerging markets? South America, Africa, Middle East?
Also showing very encouraging signs, definitely. Take South America. Its I&I cleaning market is set to grow by over 70% by 2033.
70%.
Yeah, reaching nearly $2 billion.
Mm.
Brazil's leading the way there. But Argentina is also showing particularly strong momentum. A CGR over 5%.
Interesting.
The Middle East, too, a strong outlook. Also growing by over 70% by 2033. And the UAE, specifically, boasts one of the highest growth rates globally in this sector.
Why the UAE
And
particularly?
likely linked to that massive push for advanced infrastructure, tourism, healthcare facilities, all needing top-tier hygiene standards.
Makes sense.
And Africa.
Africa's market is also projected to expand significantly, reaching nearly $1.3 billion by 2033, with South Africa as a major contributor. So across all these regions, the connection is pretty clear, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be.
Expanding industrialization, growing cities, urbanization,
Yeah.
and just a heightened focus everywhere on sanitation. Those are the fundamental drivers.
Okay, so if we try and sum this all up, what we've really seen today is that both these markets, polycarbonate compounds and I&I cleaning, they're showing really solid, sustained growth.
Yeah.
Globally, across all sorts of different regions, different economic environments.
These aren't just, small niche industries. They are absolutely foundational to how our modern society works.
Exactly right. And these trends, they reflect more than just economic development or industrialization, though they certainly show that on a massive scale.
Right. What else?
They also point to this heightened global awareness. Awareness about, crucial things like sustainability, the absolute need for hygiene, especially post-pandemic, and the constant demand for high-performance materials in our, increasingly complex world.
So these numbers, they're not just numbers, they're indicators.
They really are. Indicators of how societies are evolving, what they're prioritizing, that kind of unseen infrastructure of daily life.
It's pretty incredible when you think about it that way. So maybe here's a final thought for you, the listener, to sort of chew on.
Yeah.
How do these massive yet often completely unnoticed market shifts, how do they profoundly shape the actual products you use every single day, the environments you walk into, maybe even the overall quality of life around you? These industries are just quietly influencing our world in, countless ways, enabling progress, safeguarding well-being. It's definitely worth keeping an eye on how they keep evolving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff. Have you ever stopped to think about, what really keeps a hospital sterile? Or maybe your favorite restaurant looking spotless? Or even your kid's classroom safe? We're talking about an industry that's, fundamental to our health and safety, but often just works in the background, unnoticed. So today we're doing a deep dive into the institutional, industrial, and institutional cleaning market, our mission, to really explore the forces driving it, the challenges it faces, and the big trends reshaping how our spaces are cleaned and kept safe. We'll probably just call it the professional cleaning market for brevity.
It really is an industry with more layers than people might think. And what's fascinating is how it's seen now, not just as maintenance,
Hmm.
but really as a critical part of public health, safety, even operational excellence across so many different sectors.
Hmm.
I mean, without those rigorous standards, everything from healthcare to hospitality, their integrity would be seriously compromised.
Okay, right. So let's unpack that. What are some of the biggest forces, fueling growth and demand in this professional cleaning market right now?
Well, a huge one, maybe the biggest driver, is the sheer impact of stringent hygiene and safety regulations. Governments, health authorities all over the world, they're enforcing really tough sanitation and disinfection standards.
You mean like mandatory stuff?
Exactly. Think about high-stakes places like hospitals, busy hotels, and definitely food processing plants. These aren't just guidelines, they're strict mandates. And this isn't just keeping demand steady, it's elevating professional cleaning. It's moving from being a cost you have to bear to being a proactive way to manage risk.
Oh, okay.
That fundamentally changes how institutions invest. It's really a strategic imperative now.
That makes a lot of sense. So beyond those external rules, what about the internal focus, like on occupational health? Is that really driving the market too? Are companies prioritizing well-being that much?
Oh, absolutely. Organizations are definitely putting employee health much higher on the list. They're going past just basic tidiness. They want workplaces that are properly disinfected, allergen-free, truly healthy environments.
Where do you see that most?
It's particularly noticeable in, say, shared workspaces, manufacturing plants, schools, universities, places like that. And the goal is pretty clear. Fewer sick days, better productivity, and just a safer, more engaged workforce overall.
Right.
So this push, it's not just about looking clean. It leads to this growing reliance on professional-grade products and services, stuff that delivers proven safety and performance, not just, a surface shine.
Okay, and here's where it seems to get really interesting for growth. We're seeing big expansions in sectors like healthcare and hospitality, especially in emerging economies. What does that mean specifically for this industry?
Well, what the research clearly shows is that this boom, new hospitals, clinics, hotels, commercial spaces, it directly translates into, well, an exponential demand for consistent, thorough cleaning.
Exponential, wow.
Yeah, these new facilities aren't just adding floor space. They're massively expanding the need for really strict sanitation protocols,
Yeah.
to maintain service quality and crucially prevent cross-contamination.
So cleaning becomes essential right from the start.
Exactly. Cleaning solutions become an absolutely indispensable operational investment. It's not just about making a new hotel look nice, it's about protecting the brand reputation, ensuring patient safety in that new clinic, and frankly, meeting much higher consumer expectations, especially in those rapidly developing markets.
Okay, so we've covered the drivers, which are clearly significant, but every market has its challenges. What are some of the main difficulties the professional cleaning industry is grappling with? You mentioned investment. Is the cost of these advanced solutions a barrier?
That's a really critical point. Yes, a major restraint is definitely the high expense associated with advanced cleaning solutions. Premium products, eco-friendly options, specialized equipment. They often come with a pretty substantial upfront cost.
I could see that.
And that can certainly create barriers, particularly for, say, smaller institutions or organizations working with tighter budgets. But here's an interesting side effect. That high cost is, maybe ironically, pushing innovation towards things like budget-friendly, highly concentrated solutions.
Making it go further.
Exactly. It's sort of creating a tiered market where efficiency and long-term value, ROI, often outweigh the initial price tag, especially for those smaller players looking for sustainable, affordable options.
And if we're talking about these powerful industrial strength chemicals, aren't there also real health hazards involved
Yeah.
for the cleaning staff, maybe even for people using the spaces?
That's a crucial concern, and it's definitely growing. Many industrial strength cleaners, while very effective, do contain potent chemicals. These can potentially trigger respiratory problems, skin irritation, other health risks, both for the cleaning crews and for anyone else in that environment.
So what's the impact of that awareness?
Well, as awareness grows about the potential dangers of certain synthetic ingredients, institutions are becoming much more careful about product selection. The research really points to a clear shift towards prioritizing products that minimize those exposure risks. especially if comprehensive training or the right protective gear isn't always consistently in place.
Mhm.
It's a constant balancing act, really needing powerful cleaning results versus ensuring absolute safety for everyone.
And beyond the cost and the chemical safety, what about just getting the stuff where it needs to go?
Yeah.
Are supply chain and distribution issues a problem here too?
They certainly are. And the pandemic really put a spotlight on this, didn't it?
Absolutely.
Disruptions in getting raw materials, uh, transportation delays, significant gaps in regional distribution networks. These often challenge consistent access to standardized cleaning supplies.
Where is that felt most?
The problem tends to be especially acute in more remote areas or in developing regions. It's just harder to set up and maintain a reliable supply chain for these products there. And that can lead to inconsistencies in cleaning quality or even availability, which, in an industry so tied to health is a serious issue.
Right. Okay. So despite those hurdles, it sounds like the professional cleaning market is also seeing some really interesting uh, transformative changes. What are the biggest trends you see redefining how cleaning gets done? I guess sustainability has to be a huge one.
You're absolutely right. That's front and center. There's a massive surge, really, in demand for eco-friendly and sustainable cleaners. Organizations are moving pretty quickly towards biodegradable, non-toxic products, things that meet tough environmental standards, but crucially don't compromise on cleaning power.
Is it just a trend, though?
I don't think so. It's not just niche anymore, not a passing fad. It reflects a much broader, deeper commitment now to sustainability and corporate responsibility. It's becoming fundamental to how many organizations operate. They're actively seeking solutions that fit with their overall environmental goals.
That's really positive to hear.
Mm.
Now, what about technology? Automation. What does that mean for the future of cleaning? Are we actually talking robots scrubbing floors?
We definitely are talking robots, yes, but also quite a bit more.
Oh,
What's really striking is how widely facilities are embracing innovative tech. The research mentions everything from intelligent dispensers that optimize how much product is used and cut waste. It's the sensor-based hygiene monitors giving real-time data on cleanliness levels. And yes, AI-driven robotic floor scrubbers are becoming more common. And these aren't just fancy gadgets. They genuinely optimize labor costs. They significantly boost efficiency. They ensure a much higher level of consistency.
and data. You mentioned data.
Crucially, yes, they generate actionable data. And that data helps improve accountability, track compliance across operations. It just makes the whole cleaning process smarter, more precise, and ultimately more effective.
Fascinating. And finally, it sounds like the days of one-size-fits-all cleaning products might be numbered. Are manufacturers creating very specific, customized solutions for different industries?
Precisely. That's another major trend. Manufacturers are investing heavily now in developing highly specialized formulations and delivery systems. These are meticulously designed to tackle the unique sanitation challenges of specific sectors. Think about it, the cleaning needed in a food processing plant is vastly different from a pharmaceutical lab, right? Or a busy university campus versus a hospital operating room. So this tailored approach ensures much more effective hygiene management. It directly helps with meeting specific regulatory compliance rules for that sector, and it delivers targeted performance exactly where it's needed most. It's really moving way beyond just generic cleaning products. It's about precision hygiene now.
So pulling this all together, what does it all mean? From our deep dive today, it's really clear the professional cleaning market is incredibly dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And evolving fast. It seems to be constantly juggling these intense regulatory pressures, very real health and safety concerns, and this accelerating push towards innovation and sustainability.
Absolutely. And zooming out, I think understanding these forces, these dynamics, it really helps us appreciate the critical work, often unseen work that underpins public health and safety in our modern world. It's so much more than just, chemicals and mops. It's a complex, vital ecosystem that's continually adapting to new demands and new challenges.
It really is. And maybe here's a final provocative thought for you, the listener, to consider. As you think about the spaces you use every day, your office, maybe your favorite restaurant, the gym, what new aspects of cleanliness and safety might you notice now, knowing a bit more about what actually goes into maintaining them? Our insights today have been drawn from the excellent data and research provided by Cognitive Market Research. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.